Tim Marigas here with Top Tier Personal Training, and today we're going to talk about tennis elbow and how to fix it in just 5 minutes a day. Tennis elbow is annoying, right? It's called tennis elbow because you're holding the racket, it's spring, it's nice weather, you don't know what the hell you're doing, you go out and you play tennis for a couple of hours, and what happens is when you suck, that ball hits the racket, your forearms try to stabilize the shock that sends up, and that really aggravates muscles up here around your elbow. You do that a couple times a week because the weather's nice, and suddenly 2 weeks in, your elbow is killing you and you can't do it. Now, that's tennis elbow, why it's named like that, but it happens all the time in fitness too, and that's what I deal with as a trainer, and so people will get tennis elbow from never playing tennis, but from doing their workouts incorrectly. So we're going to talk about what it is and how to fix it real fast. Okay, so first of all, what do we have going on? Well, these muscles right here, these are your forearm extensors on this hairy side of your forearm. They extend your wrist and extend your fingers. Like if you're flicking someone off, you're working your forearm extensors. And so what's going on is the tendons right at the origin, which is down right on the lateral side of the elbow, those tendons will get inflamed and you'll have issues with them. So that's what's happening with tendinitis and with tennis elbow. Okay, so again, you can get it from tennis, but you can get it from doing a lot of different exercises, particularly if you don't give yourself enough rest. For example, if you do like back on one day, then biceps the next day, then back again, then biceps again, or if you screw up your exercise selection and you have too many, for example, pronated, palms down, grip, back exercises, you can give yourself tennis elbow just from working out. So what are we going to do? You got tennis elbow, it's annoying. It can actually be almost debilitating where you can hardly carry anything in that hand. It makes lifting a nightmare. So if you're starting to sense it, this is not something that we just gut through and say, hey, I'm tough, I'm just going to rock through. You want to address it pretty quickly, because if you don't, then it can just get worse down the road. It rarely just goes away on its own. So the two big things we got to do is stretch and strengthen. So first, we have to stretch our forearm extensors. Many people have tight wrists. So my two favorite stretches for the forearm extensors are, you're going to bend your elbow, cock your wrist down, move your other hand so that you're actually pushing your fingers down, like you were trying to make your fingers scratch your own forearm, right? You're not going to be able to do that, but that's kind of the intent. So I'm pushing down here. Okay, this puts this part of the muscle in the extended position, and now we're going to extend my elbow into it at the same time. And you can twist around a little bit, but I want to get a nice stretch up to the forearm extensors and hopefully in that spot where it's bothering me. Okay, so start with the elbow bent, then extend in and make sure that wrist is cocked back. Okay, so that's going to stretch that out. Another good alternative is to imagine that you're doing push-ups, right? But instead of putting your palms on the floor, you're going to put the back of your hand on the floor. Okay, we don't have to actually do a literal push-up, but notice my elbows are bent. Okay, so here's the floor right here. Start with your elbows bent, extend your elbow, and then lean back as you do it. So we increase the angle. So this makes it easy. Okay, this really emphasizes the stretch. So we have to stretch these muscles here. Now there's a good chance if you have tennis elbow, you're also prone to golfer's elbow, which is the exact same thing on the medial inside part. I'll do a separate video about that, but you still probably want to stretch your forearm flexors. My favorite simple one for this is the prayer stretch. Put the heel of your palms together, up nice and high. Bring that down, bring your elbows up, and then from here push one side and then the other. This isn't directly for tennis elbow, but most likely your forearms are tight. So now we're going to stretch out the flexors, which are on the other side, okay, so we don't get both issues. So we want to stretch. You really can't stretch too much. You need to stretch at least 3 times a week. If you wanted to do these things 3 times a day, that would be totally fine. Okay, so we're trying to break up those adhesions and some of that scar tissue that's in there that's causing some of that pain. We don't want that just to get locked in, because the body just wants to make it stiff and stable. It doesn't first want to build back that range of motion. Then the other thing we got to do is strengthen. Stretch and strengthen. The good news is these muscles are super easy to strengthen. All you're going to do is take a light dumbbell, 2 to 5 pounds. If you've been working out a lot, maybe 5 to 8, possibly 10. This is not one we need to be gung-ho on. We're going to do high reps. We want to go nice isolation. Support your forearm on something. A lot of times I'll just use like the J-hook in a squat rack. You can just set it on your thigh. You can lay across a bench. Don't use a bar. Use a dumbbell so we can get a little bit better range of motion on this one. Forearm is stable. Let your wrist cock down, and all you're going to do is just extend up. down, extend up. So a reverse wrist curl with a dumbbell. We want to do at least 10 reps, up to 20 reps, 2 to 3 sets. If this is excruciating, then you need to wait a couple of weeks, just do the stretching exercises and avoid things that are continuing to cause it pain. Okay, but this you don't need to do like a bunch of times every day, but do this at least twice a week, maybe 3-4 times a week, maybe give it like 2 or 3 weeks as you start to adapt to it. So you just support your forearm and you just come up like this, down and up, nice and stable. Notice I'm not doing this. This is actually going to make it worse. So it's not a bicep curl, it's not a reverse curl, it's a wrist curl, just like this. While you're at it, if you want to strengthen up your forearm flexors, feel free. Turn it over. Now let it go all the way so it runs down into your fingertips, and then curl up. You'll probably want to use heavier weight on this. So 5 for your forearm flexors is pretty light. But extensors does not have to be heavy. Even if you're just at home, you could grab a can of soup and just get a little bit of isolated work in there. So this is going to force blood into the area. That's why we're going high reps and not super heavy. And that blood is what's going to cause us to heal. And we have to make these muscles stronger so then they can absorb that strength. Now, you've obviously done something to cause this, so you want to avoid whatever it is that you're doing. Things not to do. Well, it says back and biceps on here. Obviously, I'm not telling you not to train back and biceps at all. Who the hell would do that? But certain exercises are more likely going to bother it. Okay, so when you have tennis elbow and the pain is on the outside lateral part of your forearm, you want to watch pronated grip exercises, things like pull-ups and lat pull down and wide cable row, and also be more wary of neutral grip, thumbs up exercises like a V-grip cable row, something like that. The good news is almost always when it's pure tennis elbow, if you just flip to a supinated grip, so your palms are up, 0 pain. You can have excruciating pain doing a pull-up, and chin-ups feel fantastic. Okay, the body's weird like that. So palms up stuff, reverse grip, lat pull down, chin-ups already mentioned, 45-degree barbell row, supinated cable row. Don't go super heavy. And again, if you just go super gung-ho, oh my God, it's pain-free, I can finally train, this is how you get golfer's elbow, by doing too much of that. Okay, so just, 1, 2, no more than 3 exercises for sure. Give yourself some break when you do that. When it comes to biceps, it's the same idea. A reverse curl is probably going to feel really crappy with tennis elbow. Hammer curls, thumbs up, may well hurt. Palms up curl, so easy bar or straight bar, probably going to feel totally fine. A single cable curl, probably going to feel totally fine. Like a Hercules curl, something like that, should be all right. Okay, but you got to watch this and this. Other exercises you may not expect that'll aggravate it. Lateral raises, right, will cause a lot of pain. Don't cut yourself through that. You can switch to the lateral raise machine and then have no pain at all. You can put a band around your elbow, no pain there. And then simple things like shaking somebody's hand, carrying your briefcase, those kind of things can hurt, so you want to avoid it. You can buy a tennis elbow strap that goes around your forearm that will take away some of the pressure. And honestly, it may just be a good reminder not to use your arm for the next couple of weeks as it starts to heal up. Okay, but your 2 key things, you want to fix this up. You got to strengthen your forearms, right, and you got to stretch them. Stretch at least 3 times a week, preferably every day. If you have a massager, you can just get a massager in there and just get going. You can even take a tennis ball or a racquetball and gradually rub that spot to help a little bit of blood flow. Stretch and then strengthen. Strengthen 2 times a week. Start 2, no more than 3 sets. 10 to 20 reps. Don't be in a rush to build up the weight, build up the reps. So start with like 10, then 12, then 15, then 20. When you're easily doing 20, go up by like 2 pounds. Not a lot. Start the process over again. Okay, and since you've gotten it once, then you want to maintain, once it goes away once a week, just do some of these exercises and watch your programming to make sure it doesn't come back. So 5 minutes a day, we can take care of extremely annoying tennis elbow. Good luck with it.